Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Altered Carbon. Season 1, Episode 8 is called Clash by Night. So full spoilers for the episode as always. This picked up right away with the cliffhanger from last one. We found out his sister, Ray, had been in all these different bodies. She was behind all this stuff. We'd speculated as to how much she was involved with certain things. They got quite to that quickly actually, where he just flat out started talking about Bancroft. He's like, oh, you all that. He's like, oh, I convinced them to hire you so that we could get you out.
Yeah. Kind of not feeling that.
I mean, I'm neither feeling it or not feeling it. I guess I'm just kind of fine.
Yeah,
sure.
I guess it's just kind of dull and uninteresting as a twist on that for that side of for that plot specifically.
For that plot specifically, her being all this in general last episode, that was a nice twist, but.
Yeah, but this stuff for the Bancroft side of the plot, I'm like, okay, I wanted something more from that.
Yeah, it's because ultimately it's not as important as what it first seemed in the first episode.
Yeah, exactly.
But hey, especially since now it's officially everything else is more interesting than the Bancroft murder.
Well, the Bancroft stuff is done.
Well, I wouldn't say it's done now. I still think we're going to. There's still going to be a presence of some kind, I think.
Well, yeah, but in terms of the case,
because him finding out he's been lied to, I assume, has to become a thing.
Probably.
Yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't rate it off as done. Certainly.
No, just the case in general. The mystery. It's like, okay, no, we have our answers this time.
Oh sure, yeah, we do, but
yeah,
but that doesn't mean the plot's done, though. Is what I'm saying.
No.
So. Yeah, so she basically admits a bunch of stuff. He kind of like, oh, you did this, you did that, and basically Ghostwalker dude goes with him. She wants Kovac to like basically end the case, either just by convincing Bancroft at the dangerous past, or actually giving him a culprit. You just make someone up, just give him whoever. Yeah. And of course he's like, what, just pick an innocent person? Like, not everyone, no one's completely innocent. Just pick someone who's bad, and just go with it. And yeah, so they end up going to get Ava, Lizzie's mother, Vernon's wife, because they need someone to do some hacking and manipulation, and that makes the best. And she's complaining that she's now in a sleeve that's not a woman; she's in a man's body. She's not very amused by that. And this also leads to Kovac, like, basically Ghostwalker threatens to kill everyone he cares about if he doesn't go along with these plans, and he's like, oh, you better get rid of Ortega. Ortega's coming to talk to us, you better get rid of her, or I'm going to kill this person. Yeah. And so he goes over and he's a dick to Ortega, and she's like genuinely concerned about him. He's like, oh, you only care about my sleeve because you like Riker, and you don't really care about me. And she's like, what are you talking about? No, we're falling in love. What are you talking about? She doesn't say that, but that's the gist of what she...
That's the implication, yeah.
Yeah. And so she goes off to investigate, thinking, oh, something's fishy. He's in trouble. She gets that something's wrong. Something's not quite right. But...
Yeah, she says to the other cops, like, he was a dick. I was like, yeah, that's just kind of him.
So that kind of sets up basically what the bulk of the rest of the episode is Kovac setting up his elaborate ruse, which involves Ava doing some tech wizardry to sort of do the paper trail and the digital footage to convince Bancroft that his lawyer Prescott was the one behind everything, because she's jealous and she wants to take control of everything, and he's pretty convincing. And he shows this footage, paints the picture of how it all happened, how he was drugged and how that was wiped, and how, everything. And it just kind of plays out. Honestly, the one interesting thing in the scene for me was when Snake Lady was there. It's like, oh, that's Ray, that's his sister.
Yeah, she's there to back up the story.
Yeah, and no one else knows, but she's there, and they just give each other this glance, and they're like, okay, this is the interesting part. This is the interesting stuff. Yeah. But it just kind of plays out, and Bancroft is like, I'm going to ruin you. You're never going to step above the clouds again. You're going to be on the ground. You're going to, just be down there. Your career's done. Everything. I'm going to ruin your life.
Yeah, but he won't press charges. He'll just ruin her.
And he gives Kovac his pardon, all this stuff, and sends him on his merry way. Worth mentioning as well, when Ava goes into the digital world to see Lizzie, that kind of she recognises her instantly. Even though it's not her sleeve, like she recognises her, which did actually make me think, why in the digital world is she not in like whatever form she wants to be? since it's digital.
I think she could be, but maybe this is part of, she's still adjusting to this sleeve, so don't show her, don't, make her think she's someone else again. It might be more confusing for her.
Wait,
No,
why?
if Ava, no, because Ava's still like adjusting to this sleeve, right?
Uh-huh.
So if she goes into the digital world and sees herself in her previous sleeve, she might, it might make it even harder for her to adjust.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Sure.
know. That's what I thought.
I don't know. No, I mean, I feel like at that point she'd already they'd already started joking about it when she met Vernon, and Vernon was all like weird.
Right,
Oh,
fair
that's my wife. What's going on? And they're all kind of, Poe's standing with these one-liners. Love knows no bounds, and so on.
Yeah.
So that was all fine, and yeah, and also part of the whole sting operation. I say sting, but you know what I mean. Is Poe implicates, the creepy guy at his digital poker game, like runs that place. Like they implicate that place, and he poisons him with this digital code, the same code that wiped out all the envoys and with their stacks and all that. So that all kind of goes off, and it kind of brings some of those elements together. And some of this feels like, okay, this is kind of well set up because they set up some of these elements. Some of it feels kind of rushed. It's kind of a weird mix of things where I ultimately feel like, okay, that worked. I'm not necessarily that satisfied by it, but it mostly
It ticks
worked.
the box, yeah.
Yeah. It ticks the boxes, but ticking boxes isn't inherently great.
It's funny. I feel, in some ways, I feel similar towards the end of this season. I'm feeling similar to how we felt towards the end of Star Trek Discovery. It's like, okay, I see you're doing. You're ticking the boxes, but you're not quite hitting the mark.
Yeah. But it wasn't bad though. It functions. It works. And yeah, so seemingly Kovac has his pardon. He's free to go and do what he wants. He's got a boatload of money apparently, and that's all happy days. For me, the more interesting part of the episode though. So Ortega's like hunting down what's going on, and she basically tracks down that there's like DNA from her punches from before when she punched Ray. She's like, okay, where'd this DNA come from? And I think his name's Mickey in this, but Warren from the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, he tracks it down. He's doing it. He's not supposed to because she's been kicked off the force. You're in leave and get out of the building or you'll be dragged out. Yeah. And I love how the captain's like, yeah, I had to get like back surgery, and I told him I fell.
I'm covering for you here.
Yeah, but she ends up getting to the sleeve place, Psycha Cell, I think it was called, and she goes into, we've seen one of these chambers before because we saw it with Bancroft and all his clones, and she comes in, and the guy she's like made take her there is like double crossing her. He shuts the door. She's locked in, and she's she wipes the ice off one of the chambers, and obviously it's one of Ray's clones, and like I feel like I know where this is going, and this is where it starts to do something really kind of exciting, and just purely from an idea perspective, where okay, so our Ray clone wakes up with Ray inside her, right? Ray's in the stack, and she comes to tries and kills her, and basically she's able to fend her off, and she kills her with a gun. She shoots her dead. I don't think it's the first one who actually fights her with a sword. Whether it is or isn't, there's a cool bit where
the first one stabs her with the glass.
Yeah, but she actually does. At one point, one of the clones has a sword, and Ortega's basically fighting back with her bionic arm to block it.
See, that was cool. I will say I'm a little disappointed because I was promised a naked sword fight, and it's not really a sword fight if there's only one sword.
I thought you were going to complain that only one of them was naked.
Oh, what do you think of me?
Exactly that.
Look, not gonna lie, crossed my mind. That wasn't the point of my
To be
point
fair,
here, though.
to be fair, if you were here for the nakedness, then they more than made up for it with lots of naked versions of one of them.
They did. There was a lot of bodies.
Because there was something very, very intimidating by every time she killed one, another one would wake up. There was it was almost like you're going to run out of ammo. Eventually, you're not going to have any bullets left to take her out.
And I like the idea that she can't just be overwhelmed because it's still her in each one. So
it has to be one at a time.
Loads of them at a time. Yeah,
it has to be one at a time. But eventually, like one's able to like fight back, and then we get the sword, and we get to the point where they're just beating each other to bloody death. And it was actually a really. It's one of these times where the idea is really cool, the action scene's shot really well. This is a good scene. This is a genuinely good scene.
Easily the high point of the episode.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah.
And then it has a really nice ending to it as well.
Yeah, go on.
with so Ortega's finally beaten her, and she goes and she hears the little girl crying,
Hmm.
and she, the girls, we know who it
And
is. We know,
we know that that's the little girl that she was already inside earlier in the
yeah,
season.
but she's just like, no, no, she kept me here. She's kidnapped me.
Yeah, I was
Um,
expecting her to shank her just before,
I
because
was
I
too.
thought that was going to be the cliffhanger, but instead she just holds her and hugs her, and then that's when we go to the, the Firefly esque
I
light
think the,
thing at the
the the
end.
the key here is she can just throw her off completely. Be like, she thinks she's won for all intents and purposes.
Oh sure, but I wonder if she has a reason for not just killing her now, because
No,
she could
maybe.
just like stab her in the neck right now, and that's it.
Leverage on Takeshi.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. We'll see what she's got planned next episode.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, no, definitely, Ray as an antagonist has definitely been far more interesting, especially because one of my complaints before with the Ghostwalker, because he was interesting enough at first, but when we thought, oh, he's just working for this random mob boss dude, that's not that interesting. But then we find out it's not really a mob boss dude, it's Ray, it's his
Yeah, way
sister,
more interesting.
way
I,
more
I liked,
interesting.
that moment where he starts giving his speech, and Kevin's like, I'm not I know what you're like in elevators.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
um,
I will say a little underwhelmed at this point with Ray's motivations. I hope there's more to it that we learn.
yeah. It's just over the last 250 years, she's basically become a kingpin.
Yeah, yeah, but
Yeah.
she claims it was all to, get Kovac out at some point, and I'm like, okay, I don't know. Like, I was hoping for maybe some criminal mastermindery at this point, and maybe there still will be, and this was just a cover story.
Well, yeah, because I mean, ultimately, I mean, she's threatened to kill people that he cares about in order to like control them. So
Yeah,
she must have some sort of goal she wants besides him just being out.
I think so. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
if at the very least, just to maintain her status quo and like have her criminal underworld or business, thriving and
yeah,
growing and essentially being like as rich as the Mets, but with but underground, like unknown, unseen.
yeah.
So there's a thing. Interesting, actually, just to go back to Ghostwalker. We find out more about because he's always seemed very religious because he always asks about the beliefs and all the rest of it, and we find out in this what he's actually worshipping is he basically
Mm.
sees someone like Ray as a god because she's been alive for so long and she keeps coming back and she has so much money and she can't die. That basically makes her a god that he can actually talk to.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I wonder if he feels that way about all of the people who, that old, like Bancroft, etc.
Maybe he does, or maybe the reason why he specifically is gravitating towards her is because she has more of an agenda and a goal, beyond just I'm rich in the sky and I'm going to stay this way.
That's it. I'm intrigued to see, if he has multiple gods in that sense, and that they're all gods to him. Because I assume this means he must be relatively young,
Yeah,
right?
relatively. Yeah, he's not 250 years. Yeah,
Yeah, relative to all the rich and powerful, and
yeah,
the people following. So, like, is this just something that'll wear off over time? So you can only get these followers like this, when they're young. Once they start coming back, once you if he dies and you bring them back, how long before they go? Well, I'm kind of don't need this anymore.
yeah. I will say I think the stuff early on mostly works for me in the sense that I like the idea of like threatening everyone else around them to force them to like
Mm.
go along with the plan because at this point I do believe he cares for Ortega because he cared so much last episode about
Oh yeah,
the sleeve not being damaged and don't just let the body die, that kind of thing.
yeah, definitely.
I almost wish they actually spent more time on that, like maybe had the whole episode be about him having to lie to everyone around him to keep them safe, so they all hate him for it, but we actually know that he's doing it for the right reasons or something. I feel like there was maybe more drama to be mined out of that as a
Mm.
simple episode idea.
I think I would agree with that if this wasn't so close to the end of the season.
Oh sure, yeah, but I think just it's sort of an idea on its own. But it's just kind of like we have that one scene with Ortega, and then it's just kind of dropped from there
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
And I'm sure it'll come back up when like Ortega like says, "What? Why the hell were you a dick that day?" Is like, well, because of this, and then that'll be it. And I'll
yeah.
be like, okay, right, you dealt with that. So again, it's like there's nice ideas as this show's had all season, and some of them pay off in great action sequences, and some of them just feel like they're exposition, resolution, also an exposition.
Yeah, some of them are really great ideas, but they're just not capitalized on. They're just they're only ever the idea stage.
Yeah, but it did have that one big standout scene at the
Yes,
end.
absolutely.
Last 10 minutes were goddamn solid, and I mean Seven's probably still my favorite episode because it worked as an episode as a whole more than any of the other episodes have, I think.
Yeah,
But no, so
that's fair. I don't know what I'd say my favorite is because all of them have problems in some way. I just don't know which has the least amount.
nah, I think that's fair. Um, I think the weakest were probably 3 and 4. I feel like 3 and 4 were the ones where it was like, okay, this is reaching. I mean, you like 3.
I did like 3, yeah.
Yeah, but for me, 3 and 4 were kind of the weakest so far. Um, but yeah, yeah. I mean, it was actually a really straightforward episode in that sense because it was.
Yeah, it was because it just split into the 2 points and just ran with it and it ticked a lot of the boxes and finished off plots to some extent.
Here's a small idea that I quite like actually. The idea that in virtual reality you can basically spend time in there as if it's months when it's actually days.
Yeah,
or even
the time
hours.
dilation. We got
Yeah.
that. So she's learning all these skills.
Yeah, Lizzie's learning to be a fighter, and even though she's been in there for like a week, say, in the show's time, if not less than that, she's theoretically had like a year of training. So
Yeah,
it makes me wonder if we're building up to her getting out into a body and being very useful.
I think so. If not this season, definitely next. But it's a nice way of showing as well, like how she's becoming more well adjusted, and it gets around it thinking that it's just this was a bit quick given how broken that she was.
Yeah.
But because we can just break down and go, well, we don't know how long it took her really.
Yeah, and to be fair, I actually think most of the logic of training her in like extreme self defense and lethal force is a good confidence builder. It actually makes complete sense to me. Because she feels like she can take on anything that comes at her. It makes a lot. Even though her father's terrified by it, and like, yeah,
well, that's it. I get why he's like that because
Yeah.
he's been the overprotective father. It works, but I like it as an idea that Poe's like, no, this is the right thing to do. This will help.
I think as a father, I'd like the idea that my kids were Terminators.
Sure, I just think you don't want them going, hey, I'm going to go and fight things.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, that doesn't mean she's going to go looking for a fight. It just means that should trouble come knocking.
Right. That's a nice idea, but I guess the worry is, what if she goes, well, I can handle myself. I need some. Yeah, I want to find a way to make money. I'll go join a fight club.
That's really specific. I thought you were going to say she'd want to go and maybe avenge what happened to her or something along those lines. But no, you went straight to fighting for money like a prize fighter. Okay.
Well, they keep telling us about all these fight clubs. They keep reminding us.
I feel like noble vigilantes far more likely given what's happened to her.
But I just like the fight clubs. What do you want me to say?
I'm not particularly big on the fight clubs. Almost every time a TV show has a fight club episode, it's usually one of the worst episodes of the show.
Yeah, okay. But the fight club was pretty cool.
So is that all you've got? That your rebuttal?
Yeah, it is. So we had mutant people fighting, and it was cool.
It was pretty cool. Well, you did the swords and stuff, and they fought in the blood, and the heads bashed together.
Look, what more do you want from me? It's a show where I'm enjoying the cool action. I had a fight club based around cool action. God damn it.
Oh dear. But no, I'm looking forward to Lizzie potentially being like a complete badass. It makes sense to me actually if one or both of her parents actually get true deaths at the end of the season.
Yeah,
that she'll be the main, like if her team next season, if we have the same team kind of thing, it'll be Kovac, Ortega, Poe, and Lizzie maybe as the team.
No, that works for me.
For whatever they're going to end up fighting.
I hope that Lizzie's around with at least one of her parents for all of this stuff, so we can see them play off each other during the action.
I could see it. We just got her mother back in a different sleeve, so maybe she's the more likely one to die, or maybe Vernon's the more likely one to die. I'm not sure, but I feel like
I can go either way with that logic. It's like, she just came back, so we want to keep her around a bit, but also, she just came back. We don't really have any attachment to her, so we can get rid of her. Yeah,
Vernon is the one that we know more, and we understand him a little bit.
Exactly.
So that makes a fair bit of sense. But hey, so so that is episode 8 of Altered Carbon. Hey, the final 5-10 minutes were pretty great.
Some of the best stuff in the show.
Pretty great. The scene where Kovac is kind of explaining, even though a lot of it's made up, right? But the scene where he's explaining all the details of the case, and he's like naming places, he's naming people that were involved, and these are all places and people that we've met or seen in some capacity. And I'm like, yeah, this is a sort of like convoluted, like noir speech that usually makes me go to sleep. Where I feel like, yeah, like technically we've seen all these things, but I don't remember them all. Like you're cutting between them all. I'm like, okay, I kind of recognize that guy, and I kind of recognize that, but you know,
it was very much like you can. They didn't actually do it, but I can hear the noir speech music.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I think at one point the narration just comes in with all that was left was to convince so and so of this.
I think it did something like that. Yeah.
Because there's that bit where he looks through the telescope. He's like, this is the last thing that Bancroft was looking at before he was, the attempted murder. And it flashes between all these things as and I'm like, I'm not even sure what he's realizing during this scene. I'll be honest.
Yeah, me either.
Because it cut to Poe as the first thing after he looked up into the sky. I'm like, are they implying Poe had something to do with it? And then it cut to everyone else, and I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know what it's doing.
A little murky there.
Bit murky. Hopefully that's expanded upon next episode, or if it isn't, it was just a weird
moment of realization for something.
Yeah, I don't know what he realised though.
Me either.
It's odd. But hey, so that is episode 8 of Altered Carbon. Let us know what you thought of it in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all the usual stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fudge for channel updates. If you want to support the show, head over to patreon.com/mailedfuzztv. There's a link in the description, and it would help us a lot. So that is us. Thank you once again for watching and listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?